internet, I believe the word you're looking for is apocalypse. My name is Matthew Kroll.
And Matt, is it the boobs? Because I can make them bigger. My name is Shahir Dowd.
That's what you say every time. Literally every time.
I can't help it. I'm drawing boobs every time I'm in this room.
And this is the only podcast. This is the only podcast about movies. And as you can glean already, we have some special guests in the room for the only podcast about Ghostbusters. The only one.
Who are you going to call when you got to do a podcast about the only...
I'm going to call Jerah Milligan.
Yo,
welcome back, my friend.
This is a three-peat.
Yep.
You're the only person that has appeared on this show 3 times.
I know. I got to get a better agent. I got to get a better agent. I don't know how I keep getting booked on
something.
Do I have a gift?
You can at least hold the Zerg. How's that?
You can hold my mason
You can hold
jar
the
of
Zerg on your
Coca-Cola.
mic. He'll guard you.
What is this?
It's a Zerg. It's from StarCraft.
Wow.
It's technically called a Hydralisk. Let's move on.
Moving on, Jerah, host of the Black Men Can't Jump podcast, very popular on the internet. I just listened to your episode on Men in Black today, actually.
Yeah, about, aliens. Some would consider
relevant,
ghosts.
yeah.
Some would consider ghosts.
Where Jerah tries to convince the audience that the Men in Black are real.
Oh, but they are.
My man.
They are. But they're different. It's not the government agency that are Men in Black. Actually, Men in Black, it's a theory. Did you get into this?
No,
Well, I don't remember, but I definitely they exist.
He asked the audience, who believes that the Men in Black are real? You would be the only person who would, put his
But the
hand
Men
up.
in Black are an actual sort of paranormal phenomenon. We'll get into it.
Moving on, we also have another special guest in the room with us today. Jessie Jolles.
Jessie.
Is it Jolles?
It's Jolles.
Jolles.
I'll respond to anything.
And she answered the call when we said we wanted to have another person on the podcast today.
Thank you.
Jessie is also the host of the Refinery 29 Bachelorette Live podcast.
That's right. We recap JoJo.
Okay.
Silence in the room.
See, I can't watch.
You guys don't watch?
I
I've
can't
seen
watch
The Bachelor. I watched it season 1.
Really? I've never watched
Until there's a Bachelorette cut, I won't watch
podcast,
it.
Though.
Thank you so much.
These girls are really funny. They have an amazing viral presence as well. And you guys do this great series right now, Tinder with Bubby.
Yeah,
Is that what it's
advice for
called?
the real life Bubby.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know what a bubby was until I saw you.
It's a
video.
Jewish grandmother. That's
I know
what
now.
Now
I know
you
now. I know now. I learned.
Yeah.
You want to learn something? Watch that video.
Done
and the series.
and done.
Well,
The whole
Matt,
series.
you're
The
not on
series.
Tinder anymore, but you've given me a lot of Tinder advice. in your
I
life.
know a thing or two about Tinder.
Yeah.
Oh, you freak.
Yeah, well, I used to be.
Oh, would you settle down now?
Yeah, well, I settled down from Tinder.
What?
Wow.
You wiped someone off of Tinder?
Yeah.
I didn't know Tinder was for that.
Yeah, I didn't either. And then bam. Here we are, 2 years later.
Well, now that we know everyone's sex lives, let's move on to...
Oh, I didn't get into my sex life shit. That was
I
just
know,
my
Isn't
Isn't
dating
that what
life.
Tinder is?
Oh my! I mean, but he
Anyway,
fell in love.
move on.
Okay,
Move on.
Moving
Shahir.
on. All right.
It's
So
about love.
married.
It's about love.
He's so married.
Ghostbusters. Who are you going to call? Before we go into the movie that we all saw just in the last day or two,
Housekeeping?
housekeeping. I mean, if anyone wants to get in touch with us, you can reach us at onlymoviepodcast@gmail. Everyone in this room knows that this is the Only Movie Podcast at Gmail, even though one of the guests in this room believes that they have their own podcast.
About movies.
About movies. I don't believe it.
Okay.
But we are the only podcast about movies. I'm just going to say that again.
Okay. That's the title of your show.
I'm just going to put that on the table.
It's kind of insane.
It's the only one? You're absolutely right.
It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
We looked.
It's kind of insane.
And then if you want to hit us up on Twitter at OnlyMoviePod or check us out on our Facebook page where Matt and I argue about the Marvel Cinematic Universe for no apparent reason.
Consistently.
This thing freaks
Also, give us some reviews on iTunes. How you want to get rid of the Hydralisk? Here, put them up there with the rest of the toys. There's so many toys in this room. Throw them on the ground.
When we say we're doing housekeeping, we are literally doing housekeeping.
We're literally putting things away
in the room.
Matt Crow has the weirdest toy of all time, and it literally is terrifying me. I just don't understand its purpose.
All right.
I don't know where I am right now.
That's because Shahir drugged you and brought you into this room.
Guys, don't let her know that's happening.
Oh my God, I hate this even more.
Okay, Ghostbusters. Who's a fan? Who's not a fan? What do you think of the original before we get into the remake?
Oh my gosh, thank you. I loved it. I almost cried at the end.
The original?
The original?
Oh, not the original. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
what do you think of the original?
Great, good.
Oh man, I've just gotten a spoiler for what your review
That's
for
fine.
this movie.
It's
Like
fine.
I thought it was good. I don't remember it that well.
Ghostbusters 2,
Nothing.
the animated series,
Didn't do
the
that.
video games.
Casper I saw. That's not related, but I
It actually is related.
Oh,
Dan
thank you.
Aykroyd has a cameo in the Casper film, and he says a stupid line and like leaves the room, even though he has like a big mustache in it.
Is he supposed to be a Ghostbuster?
Yeah, he's dressed like a Ghostbuster.
Didn't he say, who are you going to call? Somebody else?
Somebody else, yeah.
That was my
That's
point.
funny.
Yeah.
That was my point.
That's funny.
Jerah, what about you? What's your history?
I remember Ghostbusters 2 because I feel like that's
With Vigo the Carpathian?
I feel like that's when I was alive.
Great name, shitty villain.
Yeah,
I like it.
I mean, the thing is, like Ghostbusters, like for me, I enjoyed the second one.
Yeah.
Like when everyone did a whole hoopla about this new one, it was like you're messing up a classic. I was like, is it a classic?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like we talking about money. It didn't break the bank.
Ghostbusters 1 did.
It did, but it was like,
Ghostbusters 1
I mean,
broke the bank.
it did well for its time. But what I'm saying, Ghostbusters 2 was cool. It came like really family friendly. Like Winston still is not a Ghostbuster. And I'm very like the thing is
it is
Winston,
the strangest
like
thing,
Winston
right?
was fucked over in a way that should never happen to a person. Like that man wasn't even on the poster.
And
Yeah.
I think there was a funny story about like the original part was supposed to go to Eddie Murphy.
They rewrote the script the weekend.
Yeah.
He bought it like Entertainment Weekly, was it last year, had the cover story about like the anniversary. They rewrote the script in a weekend and took everything away from him in a week. He came in on Monday and he wasn't a Ghostbuster. Like Winston was always supposed to be a Ghostbuster. Ernie Hudson isn't on the goddamn poster.
Yeah.
The black dude, even in the second one,
I feel
Ernie
like-
isn't in the first couple of scenes.
I feel like you should do a podcast about this. But
I mean, I can't because he's not a goddamn lead because he's a black dude. Don't get me started.
Oh, now I'm depressed.
I mean, when I think about Ghostbusters, I was like, oh, it's a classic. No, I mean, if you think about it, the black dude isn't respected. The women, Sigourney Weaver is not respected in that movie.
Or,
at all.
star-making turn for Sigourney Weaver, though.
Huh?
That was a star-making turn for
But the thing about
She
Sigourney
was
Weaver-
already an alien, but I can't remember which came first. But
I don't know.
yeah,
But the thing is, like, she in that movie was literally an object. Like, when she gets possessed, there's a moment where you're like, is Bill Murray about to... He does hit on her when she's possessed. It's like...
yeah. When Zool overtakes her body,
Bruh, I can't.
Matt, what's your Ghostbusters history? Because we've just gotten two fairly controversial, I would say.
It's not
I don't
controversial.
think it's
If
controversial.
you're
So-
a human who looks at life...
Right. I think, so it's weird. I didn't jump on any sort of Ghostbuster train other than the cartoon. Like, I watched the cartoon when I was little, and I loved it. And, like, my sort of... what's I guess canon for the series is like dealing with like the boogeyman. Like there were actual villain ghosts. Oh, the door just opened. I thought it was a ghost. It was my cat.
Cat boy.
So I don't really like, and then I eventually saw the movies, and the first one I liked. The second one is the first one. I mean, I guess every generation has to have a Hangover 2, and that's not my line. That was something on the internet. But that's basically what Ghostbusters 2 was. It was the exact same movie. Done slightly, or some would say much worse. I like the original. I've rewatched it recently, and I applaud it for its cleverness and weirdness and sort of like turn on its own head H.P. Lovecraft horror type stuff to make jokes. Like, I really dig that. So I like it, but I've never, you're talking about like, oh, something ruined a franchise. Here's what I've always thought. Ghostbusters, with all this hoopla on the internet, Ghostbusters isn't a fucking franchise.
Nope.
It's not. There was one incredibly solid movie, then a sequel. I feel like if you're going to be a franchise, and I know it's not true, it's 3, and I know there's lunchboxes and cartoons and Ecto Cooler and all that bullshit.
But Ecto Cooler was the best thing to come out of Ghostbusters.
But that stuff is all nostalgia. Like that's not what it's not going to be a cinematic franchise, I guess. So that's my history with it. I don't know.
Okay, well, look, I remember loving Ghostbusters, and there are films that I will go back to and revisit and go, wow, that movie really holds up. Like when we did Jurassic World, I rewatched Jurassic Park, and I think that movie is amazing and it holds up. I'm kind of afraid to go back and watch Ghostbusters because I'm maybe
it's fine.
I did see Ghostbusters a couple of years ago. And I remember thinking, wow, this is actually really well written. There's 1 or 2 scenes in that film that are really, really smartly written.
Yeah.
But I'm not, and the thing is, I remember loving Ghostbusters 2 a lot.
Wow.
But I'm not sure if it would hold up. But I
love that you loved Ghostbusters too.
That's the one I remember. When I think of Ghostbusters, I think of Ghostbusters 2.
I'm willing to acknowledge that that's from a memory of when I was a little kid.
Okay.
And like if I go back and rewatch it now,
I think art school Shahir would hate Ghostbusters too.
I don't know. I remember liking the song. I remember liking the Vigo the Carpathian
Well,
stuff.
the song is in both of them.
No, but I remember like when they do like your love is lifting me higher.
Remember that?
Than it ever.
No.
been lifted before. You know, when they try to get.
I didn't know. I didn't know he'd be getting serenaded.
I had no idea.
So I love that scene.
Oh, they had the Statue of Liberty is walking down the street and they have to have the city. The city has to give them hope.
Yeah.
Remember that? They need hope to break through the evil.
Yeah, exactly. And see, look.
Yeah.
And I would say
The
thing about Ghostbusters is a quintessentially New York thing. And I think it's part of the canon of New York films like King Kong, Spider-Man, Ghostbusters that like embody this idea that all New Yorkers are like friendly Joes who want to help out, you know, like in situations of need, they will come to your aid.
Don't mess with them, but if you mess with one of them, you mess with all of them.
That's beautiful.
That's how New York works.
And so Ghostbusters, like now that I live in New York City, works for me on that level. Like it's like, oh yeah, there's this thing where like people come together to fight the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You know, like that's what I too also used to love the animated show, and also the video games. I used to play the video games a lot. So. You mean the NES video games? No, there was like there
was a recent one.
There was a recent one that's basically Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah.
Because the whole cast came back for it and it's all voice acted.
I used to have a Sega Mega Drive, which I think was called the Sega Genesis.
Wait, say Sega again.
Sega.
Oh,
nice.
Sega.
Nice.
We're in America, dude.
Anyway.
Line up, ladies.
I used to
Jeez.
I didn't know that was on my dating profile. It says Sega with a Sega. But it I do enjoy that franchise, but I'm very aware that the 10-year-old me might be the one that enjoys that franchise, and the me now might not enjoy.
I'm surprised you haven't locked the 10-year-old you in a wine cellar to be more prestigious at this point. Oh God, you have.
Oh wow, that just got really weird and airy. Yeah. I don't even know what happened, but I don't feel comfortable.
Welcome, Jerah.
I don't like this.
So now we've gone around the room. We all have a history with Ghostbusters. We're relatively, I think, like now. I have basically been living in a rock for the last 6 months, and
in a rock, not under it.
No, just in it. Yeah,
okay.
Not.
He's got to do his own thing.
He's not from here. He's not from here.
We say words differently in New Zealand.
He's not from here.
With Russian accents.
In New Zealand, rock lives in you.
Okay.
Again, I don't like this.
I don't like what's happening here. But there is. I was sort of surprised to hear there was controversy about this movie from its like announcement. So can someone film?
Wait, you're surprised that the internet had a gut reaction that was total vitrolically dumb?
But such a big reaction. Like it wasn't.
It's still happening, dude.
So could someone fill me in? Like what is the? I kind of vaguely know.
Well, you know what I mean? I mean, the moment it was supposed to be 2 movies, right?
Really?
So it was announced like it was supposed to be a third one. The original cast was supposed to come back. It didn't happen. Then all of a sudden,
and that script because Harold Ramis passed away.
Well, kind of. But so they kept sending all 3 of the 4 were on except for Bill Murray, and they kept sending Bill Murray scripts, and he was making it a joke to the point where he'd send them back burnt, ripped up, whatever. He's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
He only wanted to do it if he died in it. Like if it was like if he died, he wanted to do it. Like for instance, one of the pitches I heard for, which I think would have been kind of interesting,
and he did die in it. So there you
go. He did.
Yeah, right.
Spoiler alert. He wanted to die, and then like. He wanted to be a ghost. Right. Like that's how he wanted to do it. Which I heard they kind of got to the point, but then however.
I wonder if they like figured out how to write him in Zombieland that way.
Yeah, right.
That'd be great.
That's how you get Bill Murray in a movie.
Yeah. But Peter French came on. Paul French. Was it Peter Feig?
Paul Feig.
Paul Feig.
We are the most well-researched podcast on the internet.
No, I mean we did all the research to determine that we were the only ones. So of course our research is on point.
And we just pronounced it wrong. It's fine. Like Paul, for instance, like came on, made an all-female version of Ghostbusters. Now,
and the internet lost its collective shit.
This is my thing. 2 things. The internet was going to lose their shit no matter who was in it. But the fact that it was 3 women. Oh, hell. Before they even cast them, it was like, why? Why does it need to be this? Why can't it be mixed? Why can't it be women and men? Why does it just have to be women? Why does it be like, and it was insane, bruh. Insane. And this right now, which I feel like no one ever talks about, is the highest budgeted female-driven movie of all time. $144 million budget this movie had. The biggest one ever. So this movie has so much riding on it. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that it's so hated is solely because it's women. That's like, solely this movie is hated because there's people with vaginas leading this movie.
And it's so funny.
It's insane.
The what's the word I'm looking for? The other banners that they'll try to hold in front of that sexism in a weird way. Like I mean, I'll say straight up, all this fucking garbage is, you're absolutely right, Jerah. It's because they're women.
Solely because.
But like they'll be like, no, you're bastardizing the canon and it's not like a sequel, or no, I just don't think the trailer looks good. Oh, granted, the trailer didn't look good.
It did not.
But
are these the same people that like would complain about a black stormtrooper?
Oh yeah,
there's the same.
He got death threats. I mean, Leslie Jones is still getting death threats. She just came out with like the article came out yesterday.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. I read that thing yesterday, and I was like, oh, people are pissed off about Ghostbusters.
Like she's being called things that no human should ever be called.
For anyone who hasn't followed, Leslie Jones, who's in the movie, just received like a barrage of racist tweets.
Racist, so much so that literally the co-founder of Twitter is like, yo, we got to handle this. And like they said, like, we usually don't come into like people's things, but like this is, monkeys, like things that have nothing to do with the movie solely on our race.
Right.
This is the world we live in, y'all. It's like problem. Solely because of a race.
What did you know about what did you think about Ghostbusters as you were walking into this movie? Like, what did you know about the controversy, or what were you thinking about it?
I really didn't know that much. I just knew that that it starred a lot of women that I liked, and I was excited, and I kind of had heard buzz that as a woman I should be going to make sure it does well.
Right.
I wasn't even expecting that much, and I don't see movies that often, and I loved it. I don't watch superhero movies either. I just like don't buy it ever. I'm like,
you just made a new best friend in this room, by the way.
Oh my God, bless. Oh my God.
But it's not me.
Okay, great. It has to be. Okay, God, nailed it.
You're on that side. You're on the good side.
I just don't like superhero movies. First of all, it is normally always men, and so I don't relate to it. It's always about getting the girl. Like, I just don't like a lot of the things that happen. And I loved that there wasn't any like male love interest. I mean, Kevin was just really funny, a great
Chris Hemsworth's character.
I really like that. I actually thought the villain should have been a woman. If we're going all the way, we might as well go all the way.
I thought the villain should be anybody else.
Wait, time out. We'll get there.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll get there.
You know what? We'll table that.
I mean, that would kind of put it in. So because you said this was the highest budget, all female driven comedy. What about Charlie's Angels?
Charlie's
That's
Angels,
not a comedy, it's an action.
But their budget, the budget for Charlie's Angels was 93.
But that was 2000.
2000. That was 2000.
Oh, we're going to do inflation math?
Yeah, if you're going to do something.
If there's one thing I've learned that listeners love, it's listening to us do math.
I also think that was very sexualized.
Charlie's Angels?
As a woman watching it, I felt very much like, I don't know if they're superheroes. I know they're very sexy women that can get what they want and are using their bodies, but I don't think they're like badass and I want to grow up to be like that.
Right.
I guess what I'm saying is that it's not unprecedented that there would be an all-female driven action,
It is, though. It's like outside, like Charlie's Angels 2, the budget was $120 million, right? That came out at
$2006, right?
2003.
Oh, right.
2003. What female-driven movie besides Bridesmaids, which didn't have a big budget,
Spy,
those budgets weren't huge.
No, they're not huge, but they're smaller movies.
They're smaller movies. What I'm saying is like, when have we had a female-driven action movie besides Spy? And technically, that female-driven action movie had a bunch of dudes in it.
Right. Exactly.
What have we had?
No, exactly. So this is what I'm saying about this, and maybe we can sort of get into what we just generic thoughts before we get into spoilers too here. Right. But like my point about what I wanted to say was like this movie, whatever, if you liked it or you didn't like it, like you said, Jerah, there's no denying that this is important to as a stepping stone to hopefully, in my opinion, something greater. Yeah. Like if people go out to see this movie, it'll finally prove what everyone sort of already knows. And holy shit, people other than a group of white straight men can fucking open a movie. Holy crap. Like, yes, this is something that a sane person realizes. However, most of the internet doesn't seem to get that. Also, kind of on the whole internet hate train, I really liked, Jessie, how you said that you didn't quite know like about this vitriol, like this sort of like hate, because there's something
the normal movie
because
reaction.
there's something very interesting about that to me, because it's almost like I forget sometimes that the internet itself is like its own stupid echo chamber. Like so everyone's up in arms, rah, 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 but the average person who doesn't go to like Reddit or like sort of like other sort of certain places on the internet that write pieces because they'll get hits.
Right.
They're not going to realize this. They'll be like, oh yeah, I heard someone was mad that it was girls. Oh, whatever.
I call those people normies.
Yeah.
Normies.
Well, no, it's super interesting because my life is so entrenched in that nonsense of like, oh, I'm checking all these websites and I'm doing all this sort of quote research. Yeah. And like for the normal person, they're not doing that shit. They're just going to see a movie. And if it's good, great. And if it sucks, boo. So boo. Go.
Stop it.
See,
Stop
you
it.
see, Jerah?
Stop it. I'm not on your team
So to
anymore.
bring it back, Ghostbusters are back now, except it's four female paranormal investigators
Yes.
who are investigating some new paranormal activity.
Right.
And now the thing.
And if you're living inside a rock, it's Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones.
Now the only thing that was weird, I think, to me is that the film basically rejects the canon of the previous two.
I thought it was odd. I also didn't give a shit.
Yeah, it didn't matter, but it basically, like, imagine the first two films didn't happen, and this is...
It's a reboot.
It's a reboot of
It's so funny because everyone got pissed about that. Let's put that banner in front of the other garbage. But it's like, oh yeah, no one got like super up in arms or enough anyway about like Spider-Man getting rebooted 4 years after the last one and like all this other shit.
Made by the studio that rebooted Spider-Man recently
Sony
as well.
loves its boots.
Yeah.
Those boots
they were supposed
are
to
made
do-
for rebooting.
They were trying to build a world because Marvel has now screwed over fucking cinema.
So you-
fucking Marvel.
You mean perfected it, Jerah? I think that's the word you're looking for.
Marvel has screwed cinema, so they were trying to do like a Ghostbusters world, and they were trying to do like
A Ghostbusters world?
remember like there was supposed to be it was supposed to be the female driven one, and they were supposed to meet up with the
Spider-Man?
No, what's the other guy?
Sinister Six.
No.
Men in Black.
They had a guy
21
version.
Jump Street.
They had a guy version coming out with one of the dudes from what is his name? Channing Tatum and Chris Pratt.
They're doing
Men in Black.
and 21
Yeah,
Jump
but
Street.
no, but they
bro.
were supposed to be like a male Ghostbusters that would be like in LA that everyone was like, oh, that we support that one. And like apparently the third movie was supposed to be like
Then they meet.
Yeah, them like
The
coming
Civil
together.
War of Ghostbusters?
Oh, that'd
Them
be
coming
great.
together to fight the big ghost.
That sounds original. Yeah.
Marvel has literally
destroyed.
No,
screwed
Marvel.
cinema.
No. Studios are destroying cinema. Marvel's doing something that's amazing, but every studio's like, "Ooh, I want to do that because it's successful." Think of something fucking else. We already have
that's
that.
Hollywood, though. That's
Yeah.
exactly why they put white, straight men as leads because they go, it works. It makes money. Let's do it again. Let's repeat what's working as opposed to let's write a great script, cast who's ever talented, and see how it does. And try to get people that are minorities are not shown all the time so that other people can connect with it as opposed to the people that are just seeing all the action movies.
And I will say this, as a straight white male, I'm sick of seeing straight white males because it's fucking boring.
It
like
is.
it's just the same shit again and again and again. And I don't want to discount anyone who has talent or skill or doing what they love to do,
Right.
but at the same time it's like, yeah, you can fucking bring me Miles Morales. Like
I would love that.
all
Bring
that
Miles
shit.
in.
But I won't get. I
My thing about it
Marvel
is
then.
like when you think about movies like this, like to me it's like Leslie Jones, Kate McKinnon, Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy have worked their asses off. We
Truth.
all know
Saturday
it.
Night Live.
Yeah.
We all know their history. If they weren't in this movie, it would have been 3 average ass white dudes. And my thing is this: the fear. I'm not just looking at you, but the fear the white man has, the fear that white people, like the white guy has, is like, for instance, this movie. You're taking our jobs, you're taking us away. And yeah, that shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because as a black man, I was brought up saying, you gotta be better than everybody. I'm pretty sure women are saying, oh, you gotta be better than men. You gotta be stronger because you have to like fight for what you want. I'm tired of average ass white dudes getting shit. So I hope this movie makes money, and I never want to see Mick G make another movie. I never want to see fucking, what is his name? Brett Ratner make another movie. I never want to see,
no.
what's the fucking dude like, Sam Worthington make another movie? I don't want to see these average ass dudes who happen to get
Chris Hemsworth?
No, Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth
a
is
saint.
talented dude. He's a talent.
Yeah,
I don't want to
he's
see
great.
Liam Hemsworth make
No,
another
that's true.
goddamn movie.
That's very true.
Like,
I think
give
yeah.
fucking A. Like, this
All
shit
right,
is
all right.
frustrating to me.
All right. So now, with all that kind of
You don't
social...
want to see Jai Courtney make another movie.
Fuck.
Although the Boomerang and Suicide Squad actually looks fun, but maybe it's just in trailer form.
Not because he's in it.
I know, but I'm saying the character would
All right,
crack some beer.
so with all this kind of potential social upward mobility that this movie could offer,
And I think it will. I think this is a stepping stone.
what did
Yeah.
you think of the movie?
I really loved it. I loved it. I think it was great. As someone who doesn't see a lot of action movies, I laughed a lot more than I have in a ton of movies. I got really into it. I was sitting with a bunch of female comedians and we all laughed a lot and we were all really into it. And then afterwards, like, we wanted to cry. Like, we felt like it was so cool. It was so cool to see that. And I really, when I left, was reflecting a lot about how they weren't sexualized and they weren't pushed into a lot of the plot being about a man trying to find a man or any of that. It was just about them, their friendship, and like solving this mystery and getting strong and like defeating these ghosts. And I loved it. And I fucking loved it.
Okay.
Wait, but how did you feel?
Yeah, tell us.
I fucking loved it.
That's deep. That's deep.
Jerah?
I'm a pass.
Oh, really?
You can't pass. You're
I'm a
next.
pass.
You're
No.
next.
Damn it. This is my thing, man.
Ooh. I feel some heat coming.
Man, this is my thing. It's so like, man,
Just say it.
I didn't like this movie.
Why?
Like, thing is, like, there were so many issues I had with it. And it's not, the thing is, I thought it was a fun popcorn film. But it's a movie I was like, oh, this is fun. Cool. And watching it, I've never watched a movie that I didn't like. And like, I was watching this movie and being like, oh my God, this is so important. I'm happy it exists, but I don't like this.
Right.
Why?
Like, because I thought the script wasn't good. I didn't think, for instance, I thought Kate McKinnon was really funny, but it also felt like, it felt like her and Leslie Jones were funny. I wasn't truly invested in the main friendship, which was Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy. Like that, them both playing like the straight person felt weird to me.
I loved it. I thought they were very funny. I know Kate's getting so much positive reinforcement and she deserves it, but I think that those two played such a huge part for that movie for me, and I laughed a lot and they carried it for me.
They played the human part of the movie.
Right.
Now, that is important, and I don't want to cut you off, but we'll get into it
so
in a bit.
that friendship, for some reason, it was okay. A couple of things. The world itself, I couldn't tell whether I was supposed to take it serious or not. Like,
Right.
I couldn't tell, like, is this movie like tongue in cheek? Is it serious? Like, I just couldn't tell how I was supposed to feel about the world of Ghostbusters. Like, was it the real world or was it like playful?
It doesn't do a good job world building. I will say that.
I couldn't get down. Oh my God, I don't want to butcher this movie. Okay,
But no, but
I don't. I didn't like the ghosts themselves.
Really?
I thought, like, this is my thing. I didn't like I just said, I wasn't a big fan of the original Ghostbusters, but what I did like about it is I felt like those ghosts had a sense of like
Tangibility.
like it was like real. Whereas like these were like, I mean, the first ghost, I can't remember her name, but like she is definitely a famous comedian. Like she's in
really?
Moms. Was it Hot
The
Moms
ghost
or like
that floats
Bad
up?
Moms?
How'd you even recognize her?
Because she looked exact, like, to me, it's like she looked exactly like her. Like, the ghost to me, like, I couldn't tell, was I supposed to be scared of those ghosts? I didn't know, like, they were like bright and like pretty and like colorful.
Bess
and I was
Russ,
like,
I think is her name.
Huh?
Bess Russ, who played
on
that.
Bad Moms?
she's in Bad Mom. She was also in,
Alana Becker's in that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so like I couldn't tell. And then also like, man, okay.
Man, let's do this.
I'm gonna go into it. I didn't laugh. I didn't like the funniest. I didn't laugh. Like I did. The thing is, there wasn't a part that I was like, ha, like not even, like the comedy laugh where it's like, as a comedian, sometimes you're like, it's hard to make me laugh, but it's like, that's a funny joke. Like there wasn't a part of me that was like, that's the part I laughed the most was probably the part in the trailer when I saw it again and for some reason it still made me laugh where like Leslie Jones when she falls and is like, I can't tell if that's a lady thing. Like that whole sequence made me laugh. And then even like after that scene, like not to give spoilers, but like Kate McKinnon does a thing like we just rock the ghost, we just capture the ghost, and she does like a rock movie. Like that was cool.
I liked how she smashed the guitar.
Yeah, like that stuff was cool. But the thing is like watching the movie, it was every point I was like, you know what? I don't like this. But like Kate McKinnon's big scene at the end, I was like, this is great. If I had my little cousins here who are all girls, I would force them to watch this movie. If I had a daughter, and like even the reaction from like the female comedy community has been so huge and so like impactful that like I hope that when Black Panther comes out, I can have that feeling of a big budget blockbuster. Like that's what it was. It was like this may not be for me, but I'm happy it exists.
You have to realize, I feel like you're not going in the way you go into a regular action movie. You're not going in being like, I'm excited to see what happens. I know this story, etc. The problem is a lot of people went in going, let's see how these women do. Can women carry it? A lot of things are happening that they're not just watching the movie. It sounds to me like that's what.
Well, the thing is, in my mind, it was watching this movie, not liking it, and defending it. Like in my head, it was just something I've never personally
done.
done.
A conversation.
Yeah, it was like literally watching it, but like it was. I was watching a movie and being upset with myself for not liking it. It was like. It was like literally like.
It sounds like you put a lot of pressure then on yourself.
Well, no, it was like
you
literally.
know?
It was
more
like,
than the people that made the movie.
because I didn't want to be like, if you didn't like it, to me, it's like, I'm kind of like, I didn't want to be like, it's so much pressure. Like, am I sexist that I don't like it? It was a whole thing.
Because here's the deal. This will bring it into sort of my thing, and I feel like it plays very well off both of your opinions. This movie basically lives or dies, you're absolutely right, on the performances of the 4 leading women.
Yeah.
And luckily, at least for me, I felt like they and their friendship all across the board, especially in the first half of the movie, it kind of falls apart when it gets too big, but it's already been established, so I don't care. It, like, their relationship felt super organic and nice to me, and you could tell that not only the actresses liked working together, but the characters liked being around each other. I was so happy that Leslie Jones just wasn't a fucking caricature like both trailers painted
I felt
her.
even watching her scenes, it felt reshot to me.
Oh yeah, it must have been.
It felt like very forced.
I loved, and personally, I don't like her comedy when she's just screaming. But this, when she was like talking and saying funny stuff and like asides and things, and then the occasional like outburst, like I really liked her, and I wasn't expecting I thought they'd paint her in a much worse light based on the trailer. Where this movie fell apart for me is everything else, other than the look of the ghosts. I liked the ghosts.
They were so bright,
but they were different, and I liked that they tried something different to it. Even like when you see them fly off into the daytime, I was like, I still see, like, I don't know, I dug it. I totally get the tangibility factor is not there because it's CG, and CG they didn't bother to try to break the uncanny valley at all, sort of in that like nonsense.
I think they actually were real people that they
but it still felt composited. I will say also, just since we're on the topic of compositing, any shot that didn't have a ghost that involved graphic effects was garbage. There was some frontal shots of them sitting in the car that was like 3 layers of green screen that I could have scraped off with a fucking spatula. Like, it was rough. But like that, those are the things.
VFX nerd jokes.
But that thing was like the girls carried it for me. The story was generic. The script was garbage. But I feel like a lot of the funny that I laughed at was the girls improving, and I feel like they were the glue that took this fucking ship and saved it from basically sinking for me. And that's coming from a dude that watches a lot of generic action movies. And this one felt a lot like pretty generic along those same lines, but it felt special because you have these 4 women, and this is like what you said, it's kind of a statement. I did feel bad that I didn't like it more, but that's not on me. Guess.
To me it was like yeah. You go ahead, Shahir.
Sorry, we've been yammering.
No, look, I here's the thing: as I think the original Ghostbusters is probably on rewatching. Moderately, it's not as good as I remember it, but I do like it. And I think what was amazing about that movie, though, is that movie took an original idea and managed to make icons out of those original ideas.
Sure.
So the symbol of the ghost, the idea of the proton pack,
who are you going to call, the song,
the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It was all things that created icons. And even watching some scenes again, what I think was really impressive about that film is that those icons didn't exist when they made that movie. So they were just making a movie. And
sure.
The scenes in those movies really breathes. You know, you really get to know who Peter Venkman is. You really get to know the relationship. I got to be honest with you. I think I was so unbelievably bored in this movie. I was just itching to get out of there. And I have to be really honest because I didn't care about I don't care about the internet controversy about this film. I don't care about the all-female casting. Sure, cast an all, there should be big budget all female cast, but they should be in good movies. Like I think the thing is the chemistry between these actors I didn't think was that compelling.
Really?
I really didn't.
I kind of agree.
Let me finish. I was really, really bored throughout this movie, and I couldn't wait for it to be over. I saw it with a friend of ours, friend of the show, Brandon Ripley.
I ran into him today.
Who fell asleep for literally 45 minutes of this movie. And I was like,
tired.
that was the right reaction to do. And like, I don't want to shit. Yeah. I don't want to shit on the movie.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Of course not.
For being an all-female cast.
Yeah, see, that's
I want
part.
to shit on it because I don't think it's a good movie. It is rushed. It is completely generic.
It did feel rushed.
It is completely uninteresting. And here's the thing. I genuinely feel like everyone who was involved in making this movie it felt like a dispassionate exercise.
Oh, see, I don't agree with that.
I really don't think that there was and here's the thing is that, as I say, the original film managed to make icons out of moments. What this film is trying to do is trying to turn all those icons back into a movie. And I don't think they do a very good job of it. But here's the one last thing, is that there were a couple of young girls in the audience that I saw it with. And I saw the reaction that you had, Jessie, which was that they loved it. And there's that photo going around on the internet right now of Kristen Wiig on the red carpet.
Yes.
And there's a young girl who's like dressed up as a Ghostbuster. So maybe I'm completely in the wrong demographic for this movie now. And if this movie exists and does that kind of work for young people and changes the spectrum of what we can expect in action movies, that's great. I would prefer it if they were in good movies. I would prefer it if those kids would grow up and go back to revisit these movies and go, wow, that was really good. But I think what's going to happen is those young girls are going to watch this movie in 20 years' time and go, oh, well, that was a fun thing I did when I was a little kid.
But I wonder, and I don't know, I don't know. But nostalgia is a bitch.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't know a lot of people who saw the Star Wars reboot and didn't have a million complaints. There's so many nods to the past. There's so many moments that you're trying to please the people coming back. You're trying to get the people who are seeing this again really interested. As someone who didn't remember Ghostbusters, the story was fine for me because I didn't remember it.
Right.
That was for my parents. I think that was their first date they saw it. Aww. So I remember being like, cool, bye. Like, I wasn't interested. So for someone that wasn't watching it and reflecting back on what it was before, or someone who was not watching it and sort of taking as many notes because it had so much importance, I was just there to watch a movie with actresses I liked, and I was excited that had these opportunities and a huge part. I loved it. I wasn't having all this inner monologue it sounds like you guys were having during the movie.
But it also sounds like, and I don't want to distract from your opinion, but it also sounds like you weren't engaging with the movie, but rather the production of the movie.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is like if you didn't know who any of these people were, and you just walked into this movie,
right,
would you have enjoyed it?
I don't know if I can do that with any movie. Normally, I know exactly who people are and where they're coming from. I'm going, oh, I love that actress from that movie. I saw the trailer for a guy that's like introducing this guy, and he cried in the trailer, and I was like, wow, who's that guy? I'm going to look him up later. I'm never fully in a movie unless I was young and I didn't know who the people were, or they were introducing. So I was seeing this fresh face and making these fresh opinions. When I walk into any movie, I know who I'm seeing. That sometimes drives us to the movies, and I'm watching it because I either love them or I'm there for the story, but I've never come in fresh. I don't think any movie recently, just watching.
There are other problems I have with the movie, but we'll get into those in spoilers as well.
So we should get to that, shouldn't we? Because right now we're at, oh wow, we've been talking for nearly.
No, it's good. I think what I really value here is like all the opinions here, which we have basically gotten 2 positives and 2 negatives on this movie. So
I mean, the thing is, I'm not even trying to be. The thing is so interesting about this movie, right? And this, not let us get to the spoilers. I'm gonna just say a generic thing. Like this movie, I feel like you can't like. The reason this is so hard is because you can't review this like a regular movie.
Why not?
Because the thing is, like, to me,
I think
if I was gonna talk about this movie, like, take the women out of it, I would say this movie is trash. Straight up.
But wait,
like,
what if it's not a reboot? Because I think it is important.
This is my thing. It has. I don't remember Ghostbusters like that. I was not a huge fan, so like I don't have any weight of like, does this live up to? I think of movies as a like. I go to a movie like, all right, cool, let's watch it.
Yeah.
And watching this movie by movie standards, to me, this is not a good movie. But because
what is a good movie?
Well, to me, it's like if I'm thinking of a good comedy, right?
No, I want to hear a good action movie.
Whew. First off, there's action, right? If it's gonna be an action comedy, one of the best action comedies.
I don't know. I actually don't watch a lot of action movies.
Best action comedy to me is probably Bad Boys. Bad Boys to me balances action and comedy. Why? Because there is a good portion of action in the movie, and comedy is there. So it's like it's an action movie first. Comedy is the dressing on it.
And here's something.
I think another one that would be Men in Black.
Men in Black
or
plays both
21 Jump Street in a weird way.
Yes.
Because 21 Jump Street I feel is more akin to this because it's more slapstick. As opposed to Bad Boys, which is when it's action, it takes itself seriously as action.
But even 21 Jump Street, when the movie was silly, like they get on drugs, but when it came to the action scenes, I wasn't to me in this movie the big action set piece at the end. I was confused on how to feel about it. I was like, is this again? I was like, is this serious?
The movie broke all of its own rules at that point.
Everything became like, I was like, is this a real thing? And then The only part of that action sequence I liked was Kate McKinnon's like super badass stuff.
That was great.
But even that and how that started, I was like, is this real?
You know, and the funny thing from the original is that, and it is unfair to compare this movie to the original, but you have to.
I actually have not, like, to be honest, I don't remember Ghostbusters to even compare it. Like, to me, it's like watching, like you said, watching this movie, I was like, my stepfather, we went to see it, was asleep.
Yeah.
But there were kids, a bunch of kids in it, boys and girls, and they were laughing and loving it. Same way I felt with Jurassic World. I was like, this movie isn't good to me, but these kids love it. These kids will feel something.
All right. And the thing
I like
is that,
Jurassic World.
The thing is that in the original, there was the sense that trapping ghosts was like a process and you had to think about how you're going to do it. You know, there was like, don't cross the streams. You've got to lay down the traps. It was kind of like you had to really think about what you were doing. That final action set piece in this movie felt like we're just shooting ghosts. Like, it's just go, you know, like.
Well, that was what I was talking about, breaking the rules. The idea the proton packs are only supposed to hold a ghost. They're not supposed to injure them or stop them.
But in the end of this movie.
But in the end of this movie, without explanation, if they had changed it and said, given me an explanation in the movie, if they had been like, now these are more powerful and they'll just send them back to whatever dimension, I would have been like, great, on board. But this time, they never explain that.
She says they get, no, Kate McKinnon's character, she says at one point.
No, she builds it up, but they don't. Again, for a movie that spouts a shit ton of pseudoscience and then explains things away, and I'm cool with that. But then they just stop explaining things, and so the rules that they've set up in the first half of the movie are broken completely in the second half of the movie with no explanation, and that's what I have from a continuity problem with it, because like that badass scene with Kate McKinnon just doing all that stuff, like I was visually like, holy shit, like this is fucking awesome. And then the sort of, I guess the non-lizard brain part of me was like, yeah, but that doesn't make sense. Proton packs don't do that, and they don't have a trap, and they're just lying on now ghosts are lying on the ground. Like that doesn't make sense in this world.
And we don't understand how the main bad guy's power works, because suddenly he can control like human beings like en masse, and it's sort of. I
was actually okay with that because he's standing on an epicenter of magical energy, so I'm like, oh, anything goes here. But like the Ghostbusters and their technology has rules that they set up in the movie. I don't care what the rules are.
I didn't even think about the rules.
I don't know about any rules in
the thing
any
is,
movie.
if you talk about
this is sort of
it's magic.
But like there's a language to the magic, in my opinion. Like if you're in Lord of the Rings and all of a sudden someone whips out a laser pistol, you're like, wait, fucking.
I don't think it's that extreme.
It's not. I'm using that as an example. I'm not saying this movie is that extreme. I'm just saying like that's the thing.
Feeling. If you watch the movie on those terms, then you do acknowledge that it's not a great movie.
Well, let's go into sort of what happens in the movie, because we've been talking for a long time
it's great. I love it. I love this conversation.
I love it too.
So first of all, let's talk about the beginning of this film, which I think sets up the Ghostbusters as a team better even than the original. I will go out on.
Yeah, I will say that
it's organic.
This Ghostbuster team they did better with what was Leslie Jones' character name? Do you remember?
Patty.
Patty was a Ghostbuster.
Yep.
Whoa.
To me, Patty was a Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
She was there.
Why was she a Ghostbuster?
Let me tell you
what happened is you've got 3 people who have started a company.
One, because she got in the movie quicker than fucking Winston.
That's fine. I agree with that. But like you've got 3 like high-level scientists, right, and an engineer working together. And Patty turns up.
2 scientists and engineer.
Patty turns up and just says, I want to be in the club. And she goes, and you need me because I have a car. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yes,
what?
yes.
But then she proves herself.
Yes,
What?
This is my thing.
How does she prove herself? And then all of a sudden, she's the one who's got an idea for nuclear reactions towards the end of the film. I do think this movie has a race problem.
I mean, yeah, most of those movies. I mean, let me just say this. Let me just say this for sure. Because I'm going to go on record with this. When it comes to comedians, right? When I think of and I love Tina Fey. Mm-hmm. I love Amy Poehler. Like, every time I see one of these movies, right? Like, it's all about like women empowerment. But the thing is, that shit doesn't exist for comedians of color when it comes to women. I'm going to tell you why. Because in these same movies, they are the person cleaning your toenails. Or if it is like an Amy Schumer movie, you don't exist. So it's like when I watch this movie, I'm happy they reshot it. Because even, Paul said that Leslie Jones wanted to be a subway worker. Yes, being a subway worker, you have benefits. It's a good job. But you got a movie with 3 goddamn scientists, and the black woman is the one who literally says in the movie, you guys know science and stuff.
And I know street stuff, which doesn't make any sense.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, this is my thing. As a black, as I have black fucking siblings. What the fuck are they supposed to look at?
This is my concern.
She didn't get no goddamn
the little kids
cool
that are in this
action
movie,
sequence.
The little kids that watch this movie, I thought, okay, are going to be great. I was concerned about the little black girl who was watching this movie.
But this shit happens all the time.
And the concern here is that it feels like they made that character the black one because it followed the trajectory of the original films. And I was like, if you're really breaking the mold here, you could go all the way.
She could have been a goddamn Ghostbusters. She could have
switched with Kate McKinnon. Let's be honest.
She could have been a goddamn Ghostbuster.
They didn't have to rewrite anything. They just could have switched.
She could have been a ghost. She had her damn name on her necklace with finger waves.
Actually, now that I mention it, because what we were saying before,
this is a big problem for me in the movie.
I can't even remember their goddamn names. Wig and McCarthy.
Yeah.
You could have switched McCarthy out with Jones in a heartbeat.
To me, but the thing that I want to point out is this shit, like, when it comes, because I feel like when it comes to women comedians and like women actresses being equal pay, you always hear about this stuff. We need equal pay.
Right.
But there is no brown Jennifer Lawrence. One movie Jennifer Lawrence makes is literally the top 5 people of color. All of them. You take Zoe Saldana. You take fucking Sofia Vergara.
Controversy for not being dark enough.
I mean, yeah, like you literally take
or being painted green
because they don't.
Right.
And I hate to say this, they don't exist. They talk about they don't exist. Like females, comedians. Give me another black comedian or Latina comedian that's famous enough besides Leslie Jones, who just starred in a leading role in the first movie. They don't fucking exist. And in this movie, when you had a chance, the biggest budgeted female blockbuster, I'm not trying to shit on Subway workers, but she's not a scientist.
No, and the problem is I feel
it's
like
insane.
It's the stereotype there plays so hard into something that is kind of uncomfortable compared to the fact that you have a film that is really trying to suggest female empowerment.
But this proves a point to me. The fact that she is treated the way she is treated, or that character is designed. Character is designed in this film is designed how she is, says to me something important. While this film has a ton of importance for many members of the audience, be they stupid fucking idiots on the internet or women who are just looking for like their fair share of like action heroism, I do truly believe, and this is the darkest point about this review that I think I'll go into, the people making it, writing it, producing it, don't give a shit about any of that unless it translates to dollars.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the way it works.
I know. So hold on. So while we're riding the waves of either internet hate or female empowerment or racial sort of inequity, they don't like. While it is a vehicle and while it will do good work for film in general, but like this one, especially because other than these 4 characters and Chris Hemsworth, I'll even give it to him. Other than these 5 characters, there is no love in this movie. There's no love for me in the writing.
It's a passionless affair.
There's no love for me in story development. Fuck, the villain. God, you could have given a classroom of fucking fourth graders. No.
Jerah has a point.
I know. Of anyone, like you could have given children, like, hey, who would be a good villain for the Ghostbusters? And they would have come up with 30 ideas that were better than this fucking. I think I know your point.
Well, this is my thing. All right, first off, Neil Casey, shout out. You didn't tell me you got this job. Fuck you. I literally saw him 3 days before it was announced.
I have no problem with the actor. I have no problem with the actor. It's the fucking character.
Okay, I will say this. Like I came out of it having a problem with Neil's character, but what I read, I think today, was the writer said they shot a lot of stuff with him. And like they shot a whole backstory and they shot some funny stuff because, you know, Tracy and I like perform at UCB and like Neil is a legend at UCB. Like he is like legit a comedy legend. So you had this funny dude in this movie who didn't have any comedic scenes.
Justice was not done by him.
But what they said is that Paul took those scenes out because he didn't want him to be funny because he didn't want to give him, I guess, whatever. He wanted him to be like... He wanted the
girls to shine as opposed to him. Well, here's the fucking problem then. Because, look, you're making a complete thing. And the second that you start taking pieces out of that complete thing to make something that you think is just okay, even better, you're not doing your job well. You should take all of your pieces that you feel make the thing great and integrate them well. That's what a director does. So the fact that you hire this great comedian to do an amazing job, and then you go, you know what? You're too good for everyone else. Let's cut your stuff out so you don't take any shine away.
I was sadly okay with it in the sense of, I remember turning to Tracy, who I was seeing the movie with, and saying, like, that makes sense to me. Like, a white man is upset, so he's going to, like, take it out on everybody else. I don't need to need more than that.
And that's a call out to the internet hate, I do feel like. Yeah. But it's so underdeveloped. I'm a big proprietor of a movie is only as good as its villain in a weird way.
Interesting.
Okay. And because the villain for me, and again, I'm sorry, MCU, but Loki is an amazing villain.
He's the only one in the MCU. He's talking about Marvel movies.
Yeah, sorry. Tom Hiddleston. What's the actor? Tom Hiddleston.
The only good villain they've ever had out of 25
We don't need to make
movies.
this.
No, we need to make it about it. But what I'm saying is, like,
it's been like 30 movies.
Oh, great.
They're all wonderful. 80% of them wonderful. But listen, you had Batman v Superman. You don't get to say shit.
That is true, Jerah. You did like Batman.
You're on the other side of the coin.
I admitted it wasn't good, though.
Anyway, my point is, you could have made this.
Our standards for movies are so fucked up now.
It's like, say it was
well, your standards for movies are so fucked up now.
No, it's like we're all watching these going, well, it's not a good movie, but at least it did this. It's like
you can enjoy a bad movie.
Shouldn't our standard
You can enjoy
is it a good
bad
movie?
You can enjoy a bad movie. Because you might just like it. Like there are movies like you know it's not good. You just like it.
You ever seen the movie Cobra with Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah, I have.
That movie's dirt shit, and I love it.
Oh my God, let's move on. I'm not talking about Cobra.
But my point is this. But I love it. Ugh. But the thing is, even when there's a bad movie that you love, right? There's something in it you love. It's either a great actor or actress or something like it has a great action scene or there's a really great joke in it that like you just gets you every time. And you know, everything's subjective, comedy especially. Right. So like that's fine and dandy. It's just with this movie, other than the girls, other than the actresses and a little bit of Chris Hemsworth, there's like we said before, there's no love. It felt like no one gave a shit because they knew that no matter what, like no one took the time to make this movie great. No one took the time to make this movie Mad Max Fury Road because they knew that no matter what, they're getting butts in seats depending on if they're going to empower the female comedians or for fucking butthurt dudes from the internet to go see it.
I think they put love into it. I feel like
where?
You can make,
here's
else?
the thing.
I feel like you can make, this is my thing. I feel like you can.
Where else did they put love into it? That's what I want to know.
No, but my thing is like you got this ensemble of like great actresses, right?
Yes.
Like that was a thing that they did. Like that was a thing. They went out, they got these great actresses. They got Paul. Paul has a track record of making Bridesmaids was huge.
Yep.
And I think Bridesmaid has love in that movie.
Yes,
that is a
100%.
really well-made movie.
See, the thing is, I don't think this movie isn't well made. I think this is like,
I don't think this movie is well
No,
made.
I'm sorry. I don't think this movie had no love. I think this movie was honestly.
Oh, there is another part where there's love. I'll get into it.
I think they just tried their best. And it's like
it's hard to make a studio film. We'll give I totally give them that.
Think about everything they had to go with. They've been trying
all of our jobs are hard.
No, they've been trying to make Ghostbusters 3 for what, 20 years?
Yeah. It's tough to
it's
make
like what like and they have like these actresses who are being hated on because of their gender. Like, dude, I'm not trying to make excuses, but like I think they tried their damnedest.
I feel like
it just wasn't
the VFX team who was doing the ghosts also had a lot of love. Even if you don't like the aesthetic of them, I feel like they were done very well and they cared. Well. Yeah. But from a story or an editing or even, oh God, the sound mixing, and I never point this shit out.
It was really loud in my theater.
Well, not only that, but like and sound mixing and sound editing. The songs all faded or cut off at weird parts.
Yeah, that's what I mean by no love.
I love that you're laughing, Jesse, because you just didn't even.
No, when they played, because they brought out this new Fall Out Boy and Missy Elliott's song, and I was like, it reminds me like Quentin Tarantino talked about Across 110th Street, the famous song that he used to open that movie, 110th Street, and he was like, if you're opening a movie with that song, you got to give love to that song in the movie. It felt like they just literally went, okay, here's a little bit.
And pot down, and there's a joke in pot up again.
Yeah,
and you're like, that move. I'm sorry, the Fall Out Boy song is the worst part of this entire movie.
I don't mind that song.
I didn't even notice it really.
I don't mind it, but I felt like it was really like done with no justice in this movie.
It was like audio afterbirth.
Like,
I
remember,
like
like the "Your Love Is Lifting Me Higher" song from Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2 of all things, because they like really gave that song its moment. They really like went to town. And my thing here is that I just don't feel like this film brought. If you're gonna remake Ghostbusters, fine, go ahead and do it. but bring something to the table. And if all you're bringing to the table is we've got 4 females in the lead, I don't think that's enough. If you got 4 females in the lead and you've got a good story, that might be something.
Here's the thing. I don't think the story was bad.
Right.
I think the story was even serviceable or good. But the pacing of the story and the script itself were what killed it for me. Only because, like you say this all the damn time, stuff in this film happened because it's like something happens and then this happens, and as opposed to
therefore
this happens.
Yeah.
Like things just happen to this movie because it's a movie and things happen in movies.
Yeah.
And now granted, and I'm going to flip flop myself here. Comedies can get away with that more than other films.
Yeah. Sure.
Because you're there to laugh. But when you're doing a hybrid, it gets me in a weird spot where I'm like you said, Jerah, should I care about this? Yeah. Should I care that the continuity's garbage? Should I care that they got out of the van and weren't wearing their proton packs and then Slimer steals the van and then they're wearing their proton packs? I don't know.
Did that happen?
Yep. But again, it's like, but I don't know if I'm supposed to care about that because it flip-flops back and forth and not aptly.
And I got to admit, the original Ghostbusters towed that line really well.
But it also took itself. I don't know.
It did comedy horror much better than like you said, Jerah. Like I don't know whether to take this film seriously or whether it's like a comedy or whether it's Fantasyland. It's kind of all over the show. And I will completely give it. Paul Feig. I think Bridesmaids is excellent.
Did he do Spy as well?
Yeah, he did Spy. And I've heard
he did Spy. He did The Heat.
The Heat.
Spy is a great. Spy with Melissa McCarthy is great because Spy is an action movie with comedy in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like every action scene is actually like Melissa McCarthy in her movie is doing
Spy.
stunts.
That's so funny.
Like,
I didn't
didn't
at
think
all
twice
take
of it.
away what I took away from this
really?
movie.
Well, to me, like this movie was.
First of all, they degrade her the whole time.
Yep.
Mhm.
They make her. I was sad watching it for her. I was sad that they made this wonderful actress that got to be a lead in an action movie. Now you're Catwoman. Everyone's disgusted by you. Now you're disguised as this. I was like, geez, Lil Wiz, can she just be a badass woman doing something? Like, I understand. I think
It
there's
was the same woman who wrote this. It was Kate.
I like her. I like her as a writer. I do. I think Bridesmaids, we have to realize that we're coming in and we're hearing a story we've never heard before. And we're excited and we're following it and there's no expectations. And I think that when we're coming into this movie, there are a lot of expectations. And I think that ultimately probably what happened across the board happened in the writing and the editing, the music. It was all about the women. It was all about the women, just like you're saying, the villain, all that. I agree with you. I think that they all said, let's focus on the women. And I personally was fine with that.
I almost think they even took it a step further. You're right. They focused on the women, but because they knew that they already had the draw and because they knew they already had butts in seats, they didn't do the women justice. They let the women fend for themselves. I think personally the women did a great job, but the movie did not do a great job for the women.
And you might be right. And I think
there's an alternative. It's interesting hearing your response to this, Jessie. There's an alternative theory in film criticism that feminist film is by design objectively opposed to the classical structures of male narrative action film. So things that are like exciting for male driven action films are the exact opposite of what you would do in a feminist text. And there is possibly an argument to be made that this is essentially a feminist text.
I think it is.
And the way you responded to it suggests that, and the way that we're seeing this response, or we're thinking about the responses from young girls, might suggest that as well, where the villain is not as important, where the big action scene is not as important, where the female camaraderie is more important than anything. But fundamentally, I think I don't necessarily think that, for example, in Bridesmaids, we don't really care about the guy that she's getting married to. And the film like goes out of its way to that's just not of interest to the film. And that's kind of unusual for a romantic comedy. This is a film about two female best friends.
But we care about the person Kristen Wiig is.
Yeah.
Right?
We kind of get this relationship thing happening with Chris O'Dowd.
I think we care about him. We care about the guy who's a jerk.
That she's dating at the beginning.
What's his name?
The one she
John Hamm.
Yeah, we care about those two men. And I think when you said Spy, it definitely, like, that's a movie that's very driven by men. And has one woman who is degraded, and the reason it's odd is because she's not sexualized. And that's a problem as a woman watching it. But it's a problem.
So I think there's an argument to be made that maybe the reason this film works, maybe doesn't work for the three dudes in this room, is that our point of view is not quite as in tune with the things that a female might be looking to in this movie. That's an argument that could be made. I think this film fails fundamentally as a summer blockbuster movie.
Oh, I think it excels as a summer blockbuster movie based on what we've been given. I will say that
to other movies
this summer.
I mean, no, I think again, this movie to me, it's not bad. It's to me, this movie is a summer blockbuster movie.
Yep.
It's
popcorn.
It's I watch it,
forget about it.
Yeah, it's I watch it, yeah, and it's it wasn't the way I describe this movie, which is probably bad. Every time someone asks me, it's I didn't hate it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't love it.
And that's okay.
I didn't like it. It was just cool. To me, it's when I describe the movie, it's cool.
It's not, the thing is, it's not going to make you, you're not going to run out the door and saying, oh my God, everybody see this movie.
No, I wouldn't do that. But to me, this movie, the thing that's so tough about this movie in particular is that I think this movie, because of the cast, could have been great.
But okay, but you have to go back and go, this is a blockbuster.
But see,
right?
that to me, that means nothing. To me, is because it's the blockbuster, you get
there's too much riding on this. There's too much.
I'll give a lot of.
I'll let everyone talk. Right now, the thing is, I don't give a fuck about any of that.
I don't either.
But I'm saying is, every time I try to say I don't like it, you're like, oh, something right, it's so much. I don't care. The thing is, I legitimately don't give a shit. But when I watched the movie, I was like, this movie does not entertain me. It just, period, does not. When I think about the things that I dislike about it, it is the fundamental things I don't like in bad movies. It's these things have things that happen in bad movies. The only thing that's different with this movie than any other movie is that I am defending this movie because of the importance I feel like it has. If it didn't have 4 female leads, I would have shat on this movie so much harder.
Okay, but can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
A lot of female comedians that you respect and go into other movies and other shows laughed a lot. My question is, how is it that you agree on some things and not this? Is their view warped, or is something maybe that you're used to making it a different experience for you? Because I don't think that your view of comedy is, I've laughed. I think we think similarly.
The thing that's tricky is there are some things I've laughed at, but I don't know how to answer that. I don't. To me, watching this movie, I didn't enjoy it. The thing is, it's if you watch, it's seeing someone they watch, I don't know, Schindler's List or someone is
wow.
They're oh no, but it's some people are oh, this is a good movie, but I don't need to watch it again.
No, so
it's I don't know.
I think there are, to me,
I don't know. I wish I liked it.
It is amazing that this film exists, and there are interesting things in it, but there are bitter movie. For example, going back to Mad Max Fury Road, I think the feminist iconography in that movie is far more interesting than the feminist iconography in this movie. And I think the things that happen in that movie are far more. It's a bitter movie.
See, to me, even that whole feminist
hold on, Jesse,
idea.
have you seen Mad Max? Just for context,
have not.
I think you should. It's great. It's so funny that literally since we started this podcast, a fucking Mad Max movie is our bar.
And that was the first movie we did.
And it's so strange. It's so strange to even hear myself say that out loud, because that movie does more for filmmaking for everyone.
Is it? Who's in it? What is
Charlize Theron, Tom Hardy.
Okay.
Directed by a 70-year-old man.
I legitimately thought it should have won Best
Weird.
Picture
Even
last year.
though, great.
I mean, no, but the thing is, Charlize Theron's character. But this is my thing. Even talking about, I keep trying to explain this. I understand, this movie probably had feminist undertones. I don't give a shit.
No,
the thing is, I don't give a fuck about the fact that they're women. I just don't. No, because I'm saying it's so much hyped on it, and it's that is not why I went to watch this movie. I went to watch this movie because I wanted to see a comedy. That's all I wanted. And the thing is,
with ghosts?
With ghosts. And the thing is, the goal of going into a comedy to me, when I watched Central Intelligence, I didn't think it was the best movie. It had Chris Rock and Kevin Hart. I love them. And it's that movie failed to me because it didn't make me laugh that much. This movie is a comedy, and I didn't laugh. So at the end of the day, it's this movie didn't do the job for me that it was supposed to do. All the other stuff is great. But the only reason I can defend it is because I get why it has to be important.
So would you say, I just want to, because we are hitting over about an hour at this point. So would you say that is your final thought, or do you want to wrap it up in a different way?
Y'all go ahead. I'll wrap mine up in a different way. I gotta think.
Oh, you got to think.
I gotta think.
Well, okay, then why don't we do Shahir? I want to give Jessie the last word.
Sure.
Thank you.
But let's do Shahir and me, Jerah again. Back.
Right. So this conversation has been fascinating to me. I think it's really interesting to hear the different points of view. And I think, unfortunately, fundamentally, the conversation is more interesting to me than the movie is. And I think the movie is... Again, it's great that it came out. It's great that we are having the conversation, I think, about who should be in movies, because movies are important and movies are representative of who we are, and we should see ourselves reflected in movies. And it's unfortunate that for so long, women don't see themselves reflected in action movies. I think people of color don't see themselves reflected in movies, and I think this movie has a problem in that area. But and I do appreciate the young girl is standing on the red carpet line, looking up at Kristen Wiig and seeing someone that she can look up to. I personally wish it was a better movie, and I think despite all of that, unfortunately, it's still not a great movie. Now, it has a lot of context going into it that makes it difficult to do. I understand that, and we talked about this last week on the podcast where we love it. We love filmmakers making movies. So every time we shit on a movie, which we do from time to time.
Yeah.
We do it with a veneer of respect for the fact that these people are struggling to make movies because it's so fucking hard. And this movie, just given by the stories you've told me about the internet fanfare, is a difficult movie to even get off the ground. So it got off the ground. It is not a terrible movie. It's just, in my opinion, unfortunately, not a good movie. It's not something I would...
So what should people see it? That's my question to you.
Unfortunately, I would say no.
Okay, moving on to me. Yay! Okay, I think this movie, The Four-Win, like I've said, it has a lot going for it. Hell, Chris Hemsworth has even proved he's the Solid Snake of this Les Enfants Terribles sort of scenario. And if you get that reference,
wow, you said
call me.
Solid Snake.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, buddy.
Oh man.
I mean, he's the better brother out of the Hemsworths.
Yeah, of course, because Liam should not work again.
But like, this movie definitely has a lot of problems that I've sort of stated already. And a side note, the cameos completely unneeded.
Oh my God,
I would rather they just don't happen.
It was so eye rolling every time a cameo happened.
And it almost felt like the cameos themselves were eye rolling, especially not even a Ghostbuster, Ozzy Osbourne. It could have just been a rock show. Ozzy Osbourne's in this movie for no fucking reason.
He has one line.
Yeah,
I think his line's a reference to something.
It's a reference to his old show about Sharon, and they're like divorced.
I think I'm having flashbacks. Is what he said.
Anyway, but I do want to say this, that while it's not a great film in my eyes, it's way better than a lot of the second tier cinema trash fires we've had over the summer. And I am looking at you, Independence Day, Resurgence or Revolution or whatever the fuck.
Starring Liam Hemsworth.
That thing was such a piece of garbage. This movie, though, overall does way more good than harm. And for that, I think if you are someone who is sick of the generic fucking action movie, it is worth your time, because at least 4.5 people that are centralized in this movie loved this movie. And people either on the internet or even behind the scenes in this movie, for whatever reason, either let them down or tried to kick them along the way, and they still fucking pulled through. So I would say vote with your dollars and go see this movie. You won't hate your time there. You might really love it, but I guarantee you that you will at least sort of be like, all right, good. I'm glad this exists.
Yeah. I would say, I'm going to start off, I say see the movie, because I think this movie is a very serviceable blockbuster. I think it is. I think it's like, if it's a summer movie, like you got your friends, you have like
you're looking
little
for air
ones.
conditioning.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's like genuinely entertaining. Again, it's hard for me to talk about this movie outside of like the scope of things, but I'm going to anyway, because if this was a black film, I would treat it the same way. I think this movie, all right, I think this movie holds so much weight, and I'm happy that it does exist, because if this movie can get a sequel, right, there's so much else riding on this movie, which is pressure it shouldn't have, but it happens to like, if you're a minority, this is what the fuck comes with the territory, so they can suck that shit up, I don't care. Like, the thing is, they have a responsibility now, right? So now, in the wings, we have the Females Expendable movie that's supposed to be coming out. We have the Females Ocean's 11 movie supposed to be coming out.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, this movie had an opening that was solid. I wish in the US it made close to 60 because the budget was 140. So I'm a little bit worried, and it's not opening in China. So I'm worried about if it's going to make that budget back. But
didn't it already make 365?
No. No,
Are you sure?
total it made 69 million worldwide. It only made
That's
40.
it?
It only made 45 in the
I
US.
don't think that.
So it's
You can fact check. Am I right? Am I
I
right?
will.
domestic total is 50 million right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's
What's worldwide?
69, right?
Worldwide, 69 million.
Yeah. So,
For a
and the thing
budget
is,
of 144.
well, and the thing is, like, I want people to see it because my thing is, even if you come out of this movie and like, I don't like it, I feel like you have to support it only because we will never get the better version. You know what I'm saying? Like, for this movie, for us to get, like you said, like to have these actresses or other people we don't even know yet, like to get more movies, this has to be successful.
We're living in a Kickstarter society. We can understand
it
this.
has to. It has to. Like, for instance, like I'm gonna bring it to like, because I'm a person of color, Marvel's Black Panther has to succeed.
Mhm.
It has no choice because it has almost every popular black actor in it. So if that movie fails with Marvel backing it, we will never, everyone knows it, we will never have another black superhero, period. It just won't exist. Like, let's take it to politics. If Barack Obama failed,
Right.
first off, we probably still won't get another black dude in office for a long goddamn time.
Right.
But the thing is, if
Let's
he
see
did,
a woman, shall we?
oh, and the thing about that is like, when it came, again, the world is so weird. When it came to women, it had to be a white woman. Don't let that be a Latina woman running for president. Get the, what? She wouldn't have made, what? Get the fuck out.
You're not going to vote for Melania Trump?
Oh, listen.
I mean, I heard her speech was great.
Her speech was killer. But what I'm saying is like, this movie has to have a lot of weight, so people have to see it because the thing is, like, whether you like it or not, this movie has to succeed or we won't get better.
All right.
Like, every problem we had, we will never, for instance, Paul may feel the same way about this movie that we do, but if this movie doesn't make money, he won't have a chance to do a sequel and improve.
Jerah, I know that was your final word, and I just want to say one thing about it before we move to Jessie. But
We can do that?
No, we can't.
No, we're gonna no, which is that I agree with your point about there needs to be more movies like this. But on the basis of the Ocean's 12 remake and the other remake coming out as well, the Expendables remake, what I wish is that there were new franchises for women that had nothing to do with men. That weren't reboots, that were new original properties.
That'd be nice.
That were exciting.
That doesn't exist for, like, thing is, if you're a minority, if you're a woman or person of color, that shit doesn't exist for you. So, in all honesty, I hear what you're saying. But that shit don't work like that. So, to me, it's like, for that to happen, you have to become bankable.
Right.
So, it's like, again, we don't have a huge black blockbuster yet, right? Because we haven't got that chance. So, like, when Black Panther comes out, that is our shot. Ghostbusters is the chance for women to get that. So yeah, of course we wanted to be original. Everyone wants to be fucking considered a human, but we're not humans yet. We're fighting to exist. Wow. So like, take the shit you can get, be the best, support it, so we can get, it won't help us, but our kids, our grandkids will live in a world, as corny as it sounds, where they don't have to worry about, oh, you're a woman, oh, you're brown, you're just a fucking human existing.
Would you make the same argument if Independence Day had like a female lead in it?
Independence Day should have, first off, Independence Day should have had a female lead because the daughter, Liam Hemsworth is in that. I can't.
All right, let's move on. Jesse, I'm so sorry that your final thoughts of this final review are getting preambled by men.
Typical. Yes, so this is what I will say. I will say that this movie is not going to win Oscars. No, it's not. I don't go to a lot of movies that get nominated or win Oscars. Those are rare, and those are normally chances, if I may. They're not the ones that I thought they were going to be. Ladies, you're going to want to see this movie because if you ever did watch an action movie like James Bond with your dad, you saw that everyone was a man and the only woman that was in it was sexualized or was all about her looks, or the only way she was getting there was because she was using her body. Or maybe you saw a woman with 5 guys around her and she was there because she played a love interest to one of the other guys. So yeah, she was a superhero, but she was Scarlett Johansson. So it's pretty hard to relate to her. Also, there were no new uniforms. There weren't pleather Ghostbuster uniforms that were skin tight on these ladies. They got to just be fucking Ghostbusters that were fighting fucking ghosts, and they were just having fun on the way. So it wasn't about a guy. It was about women coming together and kicking ass. So do I think that you should see this movie if you're a woman? Yes. Do I think that you should see this woman if you're a dad? Yes. Do I think that you should see this movie if you believe in equal rights for men and women? Yes. And I think that they did do a really bad job with Leslie Jones. And that really does bug me because I wish that they could have, two birds with one stone. I think that's an easy fix, but we're apparently not there yet. But when we get there, I think that every woman and everyone of color should get the fuck to that goddamn movie.
Right.
And I don't care if it's fucking Oscar worthy.
I agree.
And I'll tell you what, I laughed a lot and it was really good. I'm really proud that this came out and I feel like you gotta go. And I had a great time and I normally don't say that. And I saw Star Wars with my dad. And I didn't like it that much.
I didn't either.
I didn't.
I didn't either.
I liked
didn't.
it. But that's okay. No, and look, we've guys, there's nothing else really to say. Yes, excellent final thought. This has been the only podcast about Ghostbusters.
Are we sure?
Yep.
Pretty sure.
Wait, ask me again.
I mean,
ask me again.
Have you checked?
Ask me if I checked.
Is this the only?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Guys, thank you, guys and girl. Thank you so much for coming and talking about this.
Thanks for having us.
Jessie, where can people find you?
You can find me sorenandjolles.com. Soren Jolles, our YouTube page. Follow me at Jessie Jolles on Twitter.
Great sketches. Everyone should watch those.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
What about you, Jerah?
You can listen to my podcast, Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Wait, what?
Which also discusses movies.
No.
But it's about gender and race issues in Hollywood. You can find us on headgum.com or Spreaker or iTunes. Rate us, like us, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got? I feel like they're gonna piss me off.
Sorry, I forgot that I have a podcast too. Soren and Jolles Presents. My bad.
Yeah,
there we go.
You can follow me on everything: Twitter,
what about
Snapchat.
Wait, there's a small television channel that you're on.
Oh yeah, if you want to see like some random videos, go to like MTV, mainly MTVU, actually MTV proper, all their social media and stuff. Like we on there doing stuff. And we got Comedy Central Snapchats coming out. So check your Snapchat on Comedy Central for 3 black dudes. That'll be us. You're the only ones they got.
Nice. Shahir?
You can find me at shahirdaud.com, SHAHIRDAUD. That's got links to everything that I do. I also am a guest on this podcast called The Only Podcast About Movies. Oh, wait, you're listening to it right now. And this podcast is going to be making...
He tries these jokes and they fail.
Oh, that was a joke. Oh, you're such a dad. You're such a dad.
I'm slowly backing out of the room right now.
Oh, my goodness.
See you guys.
Where else?
We are making a live appearance, though.
I was going to get to it. I was going to give you shit about not releasing your robot video. But...
Oh, well, I've got my robot music video. That's coming out one day, soon, eventually.
All right.
Maybe you could show the robot music video in our next appearance.
Wow.
Look, he's trying to plug his other shit that we're plugging. So, guys, we actually got accepted to be a panel at PAX West, which is the largest sort of video game and gaming convention on the damn planet. We are going to be at the Sphinx Theater in Seattle, I believe September 2nd, at 6 p.m. for a recording of our podcast that we are entitled Getting Good, that's G-U-D, at Making Video Game Movies. We're going to be discussing sort of why video game movies have failed in the past and what directors and producers and everybody can do to make them better, or maybe the best one has already been made. We don't know. It's going to be me, Shahir, Red Charyszyn, friend of the show, and also James Portnow, who does a wonderful show on YouTube called Extra Credits. It's all about games and why they matter. And it's going to be super fun. So please, if you're in the area and you're going to PAX, come see our panel. Also, you can find me at Matthew Kroll, MATTHEWKROL.com, or Emperor MSK on Twitter, or Skeletor, the number 4 PREZ on Instagram. I need to consolidate.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
But yeah, guys, this has been the only podcast about movies, Ghostbusters in particular. Thank you all for coming. I really, really appreciate it. And wait, who are you going to call?
Somebody else?
Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
Who are you going to call?
The Ghostbusters, dude. That's what is happening? Who is someone else?
Who are you going to call?
Anybody else.
I'm going to call my mom because I respect her as a person.
Good for you.
You're smart. That's a good answer.
Learn to listen
That's
this episode.
also good.
Bye, everybody.